Alright, I'm back at it again. Sorry guys. Had to eat some food. So let's get to work again. So what's going on? Let's see here. Let's get back on my phone. So if you're watching me and getting going, I'm just getting my phone ready so I can respond to you guys, okay? So it always takes a minute, but I get there. Alright, so phone is ready. So what's going on tonight, folks? What do you guys do today? What'd you guys do today, huh? I know there's two of you on here watching, so what'd you guys do? I woke up early, went on a hike with my buddy. After the hike, did about 7 miles, so yay me. You know, I've been able to hike a lot more than before. You know, my stamina's going up. I'm dropping weight. I'm pretty excited for that. You know, I'm trying to drop down back to a nice low weight. So what I'm opening up here is my piston rings. Now, there's 3 rings for every piston. 3 rings. One of them is called the compression ring. One of them is called the scraper ring, and one of them is called the oil ring. Alright? All 3. And they're layered. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you. So, and what I mean by they're layered, your piston here has 1, 2, 3 notches for these rings. Okay? And we need to make sure that they're installed correctly. So what you want to do is go from the oil ring first, then the scraper ring, and then the compression ring. Those are the 3 that go in. So opening up your little packet here, and the first one is your oil ring. Now this is a 2-piece ring. You'll see here there's like a little spring on the inside. You gotta be very, very careful with that bad boy because it's really loosey-goosey, and you could potentially damage it just by putting it on. You know, so you gotta be very, very careful. But this one pretty much prevents oil from going to the next layer, which is the scraper ring. That's its goal, pretty much. So what we got to do is make sure that this ring does its job. So, and that one goes on the layer number 1. So there's a couple ways you can install this. You can try putting it in one side at a time by putting one corner in. Okay, and then what you do is you spread it, taking your time. But I don't like doing that one. I actually like taking the little ring, this little thing out. Actually, no. We're going to do it without trying to take it out. Just so you know. I hate doing this one. This is like my most unsatisfying one to do. There we go. We did it. So shake it about, spin it, make sure it goes in nicely. So that's the first ring, the scraper one. Ring number two, oil ring. Ring number two is very particular. Now, the reason why it's particular, it's got a little, it's got a top and a bottom to it. And it's got a small side down underneath and then a tall side up top. Or a wider side on top. So it goes in like this. The small side down, the big side down. And what this does, when the piston goes down, this scrapes pretty much the cylinder wall to clean it up. This one pretty much prevents oil and like debris going past that ring into the compression ring, which is the one that holds all the power during combustion. So same process. You start in a corner first and you open the ring up slowly. Try not to break these because these break very easily. Alright, so we got now we got the scraper ring installed. So that's ring number two. Last but not least, the compression ring. Now, compression rings, they're made out of much harder material. And they do exactly that. They hold the compression in. So this ring, during combustion or during exhaust, depending on which stroke it's on, this holds all the force inside that one area inside the cylinder, and it prevents gases from coming around its side of the ring. So this is kind of like top support, and then all the other rings are like bottom support. That's why there's a harmony between both of them. These rings, super vital. These three in general are super vital, put it that way. But this one, they don't have a top or a bottom. So just remember that. Same thing. Pop in that ring. Take your time. So what I do is I cram one corner in and leave my thumb on it. That way I can spread it. And slide it down. So now all three rings are installed. Now there's a method to the madness now. Now with all three rings installed, we have to gap them. And what I mean by gap is that one piston ring goes in the middle, one piston ring goes to the left, and the other one goes to the right. So the bottom piston ring, the oil one, you set it in the middle. There's a gap for it. The second piston ring, the scraper, you offset it to the left, and then the third piston ring, which is the top one, you set it to the right. That way Not one piston ring will meet each other ever when you install it. Okay? Now I'll give you guys a close-up look of this because this is really, really vital. So you'll see oil is here in the middle, and the way that I use the middle or reference the middle for this one is, come on, is this right here. This is actually supposed, this part of the tapered portion of the piston faces the front of the engine, which is actually right here. This is actually technically the front. So I use this ring for that purpose, and then the scraper ring is on the left as far away as possible from that side, and then the compression ring is turned to the right as far away as possible from that ring and as far away as possible from the second ring. They all have to be, this is what we call gapping. So once you have that set, you get your spring compressor or your piston ring compressor, you squeeze them, you drop your piston in, and that's going to be next. So we're going to be doing that, but we got to repeat this process 3 more times so we can get the other rings pistons ready for the job. John, my day job? Whoa, man. You're going to laugh, but I actually have 3 jobs. Well, 4, technically 4. I work 4 jobs. I work 1 actual full-time job. I'm actually a Geek Squad agent. I work for Geek Squad. I've been working for them for over almost 9 years now. I fix computers. I diagnose, repair. I'm a huge computer nerd. I'm a huge PC and console gamer. So that's my first job. I'm what they call at the Geek Squad an advanced repair agent. And then at my second job, I'm a manager at AutoZone down the road from my house. I work there about 12, 15 hours a week on top of my 40 hours or 50 hours, and depending on how many hours I work at Geek Squad. And then actually for my wife's job, they picked me up to do social media for them. I'm not getting paid for it yet, but I actually have to work. I got to design, do some social media stuff for them. So that's job number 3. And then job number 4, I do my printing and graphics design. I do my t-shirts, I do my lanyards, stickers, and all that. And then this is like my pastime. This is my hobby, my passion is PGL's Garage, talking to you guys, having fun online. So hopefully that answers your question. I'm a very, very busy person, but I'm never busy enough to help people in need. Never, never too busy to help people in need, that's for sure. So next set of piston rings. Oh, and if you're wondering what brand we're using, it's called Gotezi. These are actually OEM supplied rings for Volkswagen. So I know you'd be surprised at how much I sacrifice to make time for PTL's Garage. I really want to make it big on YouTube doing this because it's like a really big passion of mine. I want to be able to help more and more people doing stuff that like I do. You know, I'm not trying to be famous. I'm more trying to be the famous helpful guy. I want to be that guy that I want this as my full-time job, honestly. I would love this as a full-time job. But what I would do, I would blow people's minds away. My goal would be, I would love to build a car, or like say buy a salvage car or a used like beat up clunker, fix it, restore it, and give it away. That's like what I want to do to help people out. Like, I wish I had enough like subscribers that I can do that, where I can build a car and help out the community. Maybe build a track car, build a fun car, build a reliable car, and give it away. I don't care for the car myself. I just care about doing the work and having fun doing it. You know, if I was able to do this full time, I would. If I was given the opportunity, I'd do it in a heartbeat, man. In a heartbeat. Because just the amount of people I can make happy and have fun with them is just... Alright, we'll get back to work. I'll get too emotional. Alright, so now we're back to piston number 2. And now we're doing the oil ring. Yeah, it took me a while to afford the lighting in here now, so my room's really, really bright. I know it's something funny to say, but you know, even though I work a lot, I'm that guy that has money, but who doesn't have any money. If that makes sense. You know it sounds weird, but I have money to live, to have a roof over my head, to pay for the things I need. You know, I don't have money to have fun. You know, right now, if you want me to tell you how much work I put into YouTube to only make $42 to $45 a month on YouTube. I've been doing this channel for 4 years now, and you know, I make, just because of my ads, is about, like I said, I make under $50 a month on YouTube. You can't make a living with that, unfortunately. You know, and I love YouTube and everything and how it works, and like how other people can actually make a living off of it. But I'm not here to make more people stupid. I'm here to make people smart and have fun doing it. I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna say 9, I'm gonna say like probably a good 6 out of 10 YouTube channels stupid. All they want to do is have fun and do stupid stuff and not teach you anything. Just do dumb things, you know. And I'm not about that. I mean, I'm here to educate you guys, you know, while I learn at the same time, because sometimes it's a new process, you know. I don't know. I'm weird like that, I guess. This one piston ring is giving me a headache. There we go. There we go. Come on. Alright. Piston ring number 2. Piston number 2. If you guys have any other questions, I mean, right now is the best time to ask when I'm working slow installing these piston rings. You know, this is a very slow process until we get to actually installing the actual pistons on the block. So it's a good time to ask me other questions, you know. Let's have some fun, let's talk. I know this is not like the most exciting YouTube channel, you know. It's not meant to be exciting, it's meant to be educational and stuff. Oh, I think my nephew showed up. Hopefully he comes over here and says hi. What about you, Kajan? What do you do, Kajan? And where are you from? That name is not very local. Where are you from, man? Or lady? I don't know. Why don't you respond for me, please? Come on, Kajan. Give me a response. To everybody else that just showed up, welcome. Pinchao's Garage here. I see there's 7 people watching, so what's going on is that I'm putting piston rings on a 1.8T engine right now. So it's a slow process, so while I'm doing this, I'm just answering some questions while I work. Yeah, where are you from, Kajan? Where are you from? What do you do? I'm reading these as I'm working. So, where are you from, man? Or lady? I don't know. I don't know where that name's from. So, curious. Oh. You're from Canada, eh? Toronto, awesome. Do you guys say oofta? Because I have a friend that's from Canada, and she told me you guys say oofta a lot. LOL, no? Okay. Yeah, she works with us, and she's from Canada, but she grew up in she grew up in, oh my goodness, I just drew a complete blank. Minnesota. She grew up in Minnesota, and that's how she says it. I kid you effing not, man. It's hilarious because she started working at Best Buy for the cell phone department, and she's like, she told me this is the stuff that you guys say, so I used it a couple of times. I thought it was a joke, but I guess she was serious, but I guess I was wrong. No, Minnesota. Oh no, this ring. Ugh. There we go. I don't know. She could have been pulling my chain or something, but that's what she told me. She could have been lying. I don't know. But either way, that's cool. I don't know many people from Canada, so nice meeting you, sir. Or ma'am. I don't know. Are you a guy? Yeah, I don't know what part of Minnesota she's from, so I won't be able to answer that. I'm sorry. I never got into details. I'm not a big fan of meeting a lot of my coworkers. I don't tend to, how can I say this, make a lot of friends at work because I'd like to keep my job. You know, I understand I spend a lot of time with these people. I do have a really good friend that actually a couple good friends that I hang hang out exclusively from work. You know, it's just because I don't know. Hold on. It's difficult to say, but yeah, I like to not do that as much. I'm on the last piston ring. It's exciting. Andrew, where are you from? Andrew Willis. Where are you from, my friend? I'd like to know where all my viewers are coming from. Oh man. Well, this box that I'm holding here are my calico coated performance race bearings for my rods. So check them out. These are pretty cool. Don't want to drop them, but they're black versus like the typical shiny silver. These are for my IE rods, which we're doing next. We're installing the bearings. So rod bearings are very, very much just like crank bearings. Very, very similar. Actually, they're identical. Let's just say that. And how they work, pretty much. So right now I'm just taking apart the rod here. So I had these rifle drilled as well. My IE rods, which means if you look right here in the middle, there's a little tiny hole right there. The hole was enlarged, and then pretty much what we call like a rifle, which is kind of like a, I guess you could say, has like a spiral in there. And what that does is when the oil pressure starts to build, more oil flows through it, and more of it flows more accurately. So when the bearing gets coated with oil, it's just so much better. It floats better. The bearing tends to be, the rods will last a lot longer. Just so you know. Yeah, we don't deal with rust here in California, Kajan. That's for damn sure. Yeah, we don't. That doesn't exist here. We don't have salty roads or anything like that. So, yeah, it does suck. However, we don't have seasons. We have summer, a spring, and that's it. You know, right now I'm in the middle of winter. I have socks on and shorts, and it's cool in here. I actually have a fan on, and it's cool in here. It's like 70 degrees, or maybe 60. Let's say about 60, 70, and I'm comfortable. I actually want seasons here, but you know, I don't choose Mother Nature. You know, tell her what to do. But eventually, we're probably gonna have, you know, some global warming, and we'll probably have a winter later. Okay, so I'm installing the first bearing here, and now you have to make sure that this surface right here on the actual bearing is dry. And when I mean dry, oil and residue free. And then what you do, you place the bearing down, and you'll see here, I'll push this all the way down so I can show you in just a moment. Hold on. Hold on, people. Sorry if I'm a little quiet right now, but I'm making sure that I didn't put the bearing in wrong. Alright, we're good. Crisis averted. So yeah, yeah, we don't have anything crazy out here. You know, just typical California weather. I mean, nothing crazy. I mean, but the crazy thing about California, though, is I can drive 2-3 hours like north and go to the snow. I can drive 30 minutes away from me and go to the beach. And then if I really, really wanted to, I can drive another, you know, hour and just go to a river or something and hang out there. Dude, it's weird. California, I mean, it's a cool state and all, but it's weird. Not bad. Not complaining, that's for sure. I'm just freaking out on how these bearings went in, so give me a second. You know, I would love to do an R32 build, but they're not affordable, man. And even if you can find one under 10K, I can't afford 10K. You know? I'm just going to be honest with you. You know, I'd love an R32, but yeah, have fun trying to find one, you know, under 10K or at 10K in okay condition versus, you know, a piece of crap, you know, a total turd box. You'd be surprised at how, like, untaken care of. Like, people just don't care about that car when they own it. Especially little kids, like the younger guys, you know, mommy and daddy bought them the car and they're like, oh my God, you bought me an all-wheel drive race car, and then they realize they bought an all-wheel drive race car and they can't even maintain it, and that shit's breaking. You know, especially a Mark IV R32. You guys are, oh man, that's like one day I'd own one of those, but not anytime soon. One day. I am going to be doing a VR6 build pretty soon. I get a lot of requests for VR6 motors, so I'm going to do one. So that will be a goal, a VR6, you know, we're probably going to do like a full NA build. I know, even the crappy ones go for a lot. I know, it's ridiculous. Why? Because Volkswagen did it right. They built a really cool car. They made it very limited quantity. They gave it a manual transmission. They gave it gorgeous looks. And they made it fun, and they made it all motor, and it makes the most amazing noise in the world. And they made it limited production, which is awesome, because only certain people should own that car. Not everybody should own that car. Only certain people should own it. And that's why I was glad that when they first came out, only certain people did own it. You know? It's very special and near and dear to me for that R. You know? The Audi drivetrain is actually a Quattro. It's not 4Motion. It still uses a Halodex controller, but it's an older. The R32 uses the older Halodex, and the Audi TT Quattro uses Audi's version of that. They're very similar-ish. However, TT's, the Audi version, pretty much Audi has discontinued completely, so they're super hard to find parts for, super hard to build one, you know, which sucks because you can buy an Audi TT Quattro with like a big 1.8. You can get the 225 version, which is the one with 230 horsepower. You can find one of those for like $5,000, and you can build the crap out of that and make it faster than an R32. It won't have, you know, the R32 noise, but you can make it faster, and it's a lot more affordable. You know, too bad that you can't, you know, buy a lot of shit for it anymore. That TT R30 TT market kind of died for like the Quattro system. You can buy it though if you buy a MK1 Audi TT, just the one with the regular 1.8T. It's pretty much a Mark IV, so you can use anything from a Mark IV, 1.8T, and the Audi TT. They're pretty much identical in every way. There's really nothing you can't switch out in them. Even the dashes, I think, are swappable, which is hilarious. Even the center console and all that, you can swap them with a little bit of modification, but you can swap them. So one big factor on these guys, on their bearings, when you install them on your rods, they only go in one way. They have a notch for them to line up. When you push them down, you got to make sure they're flat on both sides. You shouldn't have any lip whatsoever on each side of the bearing. And then you make sure that the oil hole here is pretty much lined up 100% centered, because that's where oil goes through, and you need to make sure there's nothing blocking that passage, because that's oil. It's the lifeblood of your engine, so make sure that's actually taken care of. You want to get an oil pressure gauge? Easy. On your oil cooler, you know where your hold on. I have it here. Okay. So I hope you know what this is. Do you have a 1.8T, Kajan? Is it a 1.8? Come on, answer the question, please. Well, if you have a 1.8T, this right here is where you're, okay. So this is the oil cooler, I guess, supply here. Your oil cooler actually mounts down below here. So you mount your oil cooler. Right above it, there's a little hole. okay? Or there's a bolt. It's a Torx right here. I think it's like a 5 or a 6 mil Torx, Allen bit. You take that out, and you can buy online a fitting. Uses 1/4 inch NPT. Remember that, 1/4 inch NPT, which is what goes inside. That's the type of thread that this uses inside here. You take that out, and you can thread in a 1/4 inch MP3 brass adapter, and you can use that for oil pressure or oil temperature as well. I don't know how accurate the temperature would be, but for oil pressure, that's going to be the most accurate spot on the front of your motor. So right here, I'll be making a DIY for that one later, because we will be needing that hole later for my oil feed line and for my oil pressure gauge. Actually, oil temperature gauge, because I'm going to be using oil temp in my car. I don't care very much for the pressure, but I do care more for temperature, especially since the turbo that we're using, the big turbo, is oil feed only. So we got to make sure we monitor and keep temperatures very low for a big turbo 1.8T. So there you go, man. Hopefully you know what this looks like, where the oil cooler mounts to. It's right here, right in the front. You can't miss it. The last piston. And then we're going to work on installing all the pistons. Now, when installing integrated engineering rods, they have their own torque specs. Do not use the manufacturer torque specs, okay? Yeah, I like the New South gauges. They work really well. A good company, if you want to look into, is called Glow Shift. GLOWSHIFT, glowshift.com. They make a really nice series called Tint Series, and the blue in those, I mean, it's almost identical to the factory blue indigo to the Mark IVs. If you want to get a lower cost, gauge, I use them all the time. They work really well. They're very accurate. Just giving you a recommendation if you want to save a couple bucks. I will be giving you guys a DIY for installing gauges, wiring up gauges for them to work with your factory light switches. I'm going to show you guys how to do a bunch of other stuff too while I'm doing this project, because it's all going to be part of the build, so might as well do it all and film it all for you guys. Just so you know, once December hits, it's the end of season 4 of Pinche Al's Garage. I won't be back until after like January, February. So I need you guys to ask questions as much as you guys can, because once season 4 is done, I'm going to take a break. I'll still be doing a bunch of videos, but I won't be doing DIYs until next year. So I will be having a season finale and whatnot. If you guys want to keep in touch with me besides YouTube, if you actually go to my homepage on YouTube, on my banner, the banner of on the wall, when the homepage of my YouTube channel, on the upper right hand corner, there's what's it called, links to my Facebook and my Instagram. I typically monitor those more than on my YouTube channel, just because I get more people on there asking me questions and whatnot. So just a word of advice if you guys ever need to get a hold of me. I do my best to answer as many questions as I can while I'm working or not. So, you know, bear with me. If I don't answer or reply immediately, it's probably because I'm busy or because I'm working. So just, you know, bear with me. Alright, so now that we got all the bearings set and done, installed, next is I gotta go get my piston ring compressor. And then what we need to do is, see this little towel? We're pretty much going to cram it down, not down the cylinder, but we're going to put it in here, underneath here. So, because what happens is we're going to hit the piston and we're going to hit it down, and we don't want it to hit the crank and damage it or score it. So what it does is when we go all the way down, it's going to hit and it's going to land on the towel and it won't damage anything. So I'm going to go get my compressor. Be right back. Alright. Now what I have here is what we call a piston ring compressor. And it does exactly what that is. It compresses the piston ring so we can push it through the cylinder wall. So this is what we call a piston ring compressor. Yeah, if you're gonna want an OEM rear wing, you just shop online, man. Unfortunately, there's not many places you can get a nice one. They're all gonna be kind of like a, what's the word? Cheapy replicas. If you're going to want a nice one, you're going to need to spend the money. You know, let's just be honest with you. Okay. Whoa. Okay. So this is a 4-inch spring compressor. Piston ring compressor, sorry, I keep messing that up. So, again, we need to know the front side of the engine. And this is the front of the motor. Okay? And when I mean the front, as in like where the bumper is, not where the exhaust is. And the reason why we have to know that because of this little divot here in the piston. Right here, this has to be facing that way every single time. So now we got to set the oil ring gap, the scraper ring, and the compression ring gap. So now that they're set, remember they all have to be the furthest away from each other as possible. And you put this sucker on here and you tighten it. And you tighten this thing with your life. If it doesn't look tight enough, loosen it up and double check it. And make sure that all your rings didn't move or go anywhere. Ah, got something in my eye. And I almost forgot one vital thing. Whew! See, I'm distracted. We gotta lubricate the cylinder walls. With some good old assembly lube. Now this is gonna help us have the rings go in a lot easier. And this also prevents a dry start. Remember, a dry start is an engine builder's worst nightmare, because all the work you put into getting this thing all together, you turn it on for the first time and and then it goes away. More than likely, all that work that you put into that motor is pretty much gone to waste. You know, one thing I like to do once I have that all lubied up, I have some motor oil over here, and what I do is get this over here and pretty much get the piston all covered in oil. This will allow the piston to not have any rough starting. It's gonna burn. Your car's gonna smoke a little bit more than normal, but it's okay. It's not gonna damage anything. It's just smoke. It's just oil smoke, and that goes away pretty quick when you start it up. So you'll burn it off pretty dang quick. So don't freak out when you turn on your car for the first time and it's like, oh my god, it's burning. Don't worry about it, bro. Beat your house said so. Yo. Must be right, yo. There you go. Now back to compressing this again. Oh, there it is. So now that we have that all set, we're going to slide this down. Remember to set your piston to the direction it needs to be. Now here's where it becomes difficult. Okay? You'll notice this doesn't fit 100%. So you need to pull this sucker a little bit tighter to get that gap. So you need now is a wood or plastic, a wood or rubber mallet, and all you do is tap it down. Okay? Anything with metal will damage the piston, so don't use metal. And if you don't see it going through, double check what's going on here. Just keep hitting it until the piston goes all the way down. And you know you did it right if it goes all the way through. Okay, so I'm not having any problems yet. And there's cylinder piston number 1, all the way through. You put them on tight enough, they go through. Whew! That was nerve-wracking. We got it. Like I said, typically the piston won't go all the way down and fall down, but like I said, I always take as many precautions as possible. So I like to play it safe. It's up to you guys. If you guys are rebels and whatnot, go for it. It's your car, not mine. So what we do now is that we got to put our hand down in here and we slide the piston down. And we feel for the rod, okay? And then we're going to try to slide the rod all the way down. Slowly. Just like that. It's all the way down. We're done. We're going to grab the rod cap. So I'm going to flip this around so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So you'll see over here on this side, my rod's here. And the way I do it is that each rod has a number and a smooth side. You're going to put this up on the smooth side on opposite and the numbers on the other side. And then with some assembly lube, pour that on there. Put this on here. Now, ARP and Integrated Engineering, you need for the rod bolts to be put on, you have to use their special grease, which I gotta find right now. So, give me a minute, I'll be right back. But pretty much we just installed piston number 1. 3 more to go. Woo! Go. So this is called fastener assembly lube per ARP. So what they want you to do is pour this shit into here. I mean, when I mean pour it into there, they want a lot in there. And you put it in by hand and get the other one going. Now ARP and Integrated Engineering have a very specific torque spec for this, so I'm not going to torque these down yet. I'm only putting them on so the piston doesn't move out of its home. Now that that's on there, I can no longer move the crank. You can't spin the crank anymore. You get a one-time spin. You get one free spin. Because once you spin the crank and the rods aren't like lubricated all the way, you're gonna score them and you're gonna damage them, and that's the end of that. You're gonna have a shitty motor pretty quickly out of the gate. So back to the front of the engine, or the top, I mean. Alright, let's lock this bad boy in. So now we're going to work on the next cylinder. And this is cylinder number 2. We just finished cylinder number 1, so 1, 2, 3, 4. The reason why that is, this is the back of the engine, this is the front of the motor. This is where the clutch goes, or the flywheel, and then this is where your water pump and all your other timing components go. Okay? So next one, same process. Get your rings, oil them up. If you want to, instead of putting like assembly lube, you can also oil up the inside of the motor, just like that. Don't pour oil in there, just lube it. We just want it to be slippery so everything goes in nice and easy. Same goes for the pistons. You want to just oil them up. That way everything goes in nice and easy. That's the goal, is to not damage anything during the install process. So all right, So now that we got our rings oiled up, back to gapping them again. Alright, so let's find the front. So here's this one. Second ring goes to the left. Third ring goes to the right. Remember what I said, keep them as far away from each other as possible. That's what we call gapping. Every piston in the world has to be gapped like this, because if they don't, you lose power and all this other fun problems you get down the road with it. Oh no! Oh, you gotta stop. Spilled a bunch of oil. Good grief. And I knew it was going to happen. I just didn't know it was going to happen today. I typically spill something every single time. You know? It's like a gift I have. Whatever. I'll let that soak up for a minute until I find the tool my compression tool. Man, I already lost it. You know what I hate the most? You put something down, you lose it. That's why I like working in tight spots so I can find everything quickly. Obviously, that's not the case. Well, I'll be right back. I gotta go get some more rags. Anyways. Hey, monkey. What? Hey. Close the door. Stuff and stuff. There it is. Alright, got some more rags. Okay. Let's get the piston. Make sure we're still gapped appropriately. Alright. Give myself a clean rag. Alright. Piston number 2 is now compressed. Find the front right here. Slide it down. Back to the hammer. Now what we do is hold down nice and tight. And just let it do its thing. Spin the engine back around. Nope. Other way around. And I gotta fix that. Okay, that's all done. Let's get this all nice and lubed up. I gotta go find the socket for this, so give me a minute, guys. Actually, nope. I think I have them in my other box. Be right back. I gotta go find the socket for these now. Well, that sucks, people. I'm missing a specific socket, so I can get the rest of this done tonight. So I'm only going to be able to install them, but not actually torque them down. Oh, wait. I'm probably lying. Oh, come on, be in here. Please be in here. No. No. Aha! I have found it! Daniel, how you doing, Daniel? Well, for the smog delete, it's pretty much straightforward. In the video, if you watch the video 100% through, I explain that you do need to tune out. You do need to tune it to get rid of one of the check engine lights, which is for the exhaust flow system. Unfortunately, there's no resistor to fix that. You have to tune it out. There's no way of actually fixing that. So all the other part of the video, though, it does explain, you know, you can do it all there. If you don't want any check engine lights whatsoever, the resistors plus a tune will do it. But if you're not going to pay the money for a tune, you'll get a check engine light for exhaust flow, but the car will not change its performance. It will only give you that error. If you don't have the resistors for the other adapters like the N75, N80, and the SAI, you will get performance issues. So it's good and safe to say, what I tell people is get the cheap resistor set from Euro Tuning for like I think it's 40 or 50 bucks. I can't remember. It's been a while since I bought it. Install it, do the DIY, install it, and live with a check engine light that gives you the O2 whatever. No, the flow one. Once you save up enough money down the road, then you tune it out, and then you can actually technically pull out all the resistors and you'll be fine. The resistors are only if you're not going to tune the car. That's pretty much it. Or if you got a tune from, like, say, APR, which won't tune anything out for you, or GIAC. Same with Unitronic. They're all about keeping your car legal, so they won't tune that stuff out. So those will fix all the problems, especially any of the weird issues that you'll get with the other with all the other issues you'll get when it's not tuned out of the car. You're welcome, Daniel. Anytime, man. Anytime. That's what I'm here for. To a point. Oh, wait, wrong way. Other way. All right, on to cylinder number 3. All right. Next. Back to lubricating the rings. This is just helpful. Alright, now let's gap the rings down. One here, the bottom one goes in the middle, second one goes to the left, third one goes to the right. I keep repeating myself because I have newcomers coming onto the channel, figuring out what's going on. I'm gapping the piston rings because we just finished installing all new piston rings on my rod and piston combo. Let's see, Duncan Smith, is there any way to do a smog delete and still pass California smog? I have a 337 with delete and have a smog guy that just needs smog readiness to pass. Ha! I get this question asked probably a good 20 to 30 times a week, maybe a month. I could be exaggerating, but I get this question asked a lot. Now, you need the smog readiness to kick on, right? Well, the only way you can get that to stay on, like I just told the other guy, and you want to pass smog, you're gonna need to get a tune and have the tuner pretty much turn off all those features so your readiness monitors are always on. That's the only way around that, okay? I'm giving you this advice just because, you know, I can care less about smog. Obviously, you guys see me building a big turbo 1.8T. So, yeah, that's what you need to do. All right, Duncan? There's no other way around that. So, if someone tells you otherwise, they are lying because I've been doing this a little too long. Yeah, you have an APR tune, so you have a tune like us, pretty much custom build guys like to call a Walmart tune or off-the-shelf tune. They're conservative. They don't let you do customization to your car. They're very, very lenient on how they tune their cars. So what we call lenient, I mean they're safe. They just tune their cars to be safe. But more safe, in other words, they're like legal, trying to keep them legal. So what you want done is not possible unless you retune the car and have a better tuner pretty much do your tune. You know, I know I'm talking smack, but unfortunately it's the truth. APR, Unitronic, GIAC, Revo, I call those all off-the-shelf Walmart tunes. The reason why, because they have to follow rules and regulations. You know, it's not their fault. You know, and it's our fault. You know, not our fault. I'm going to say it's more, you know, it's for people who want to pass smog and keep their car legal. Put it that way. So, oh yeah, you're welcome, Duncan. Usually what I tell people, if you buy a used car and you don't know what it's got and you think it's tuned by APR or it is tuned and it won't pass smog, you didn't hear this from me, alright? But just pay a smog guy and get it to pass. You know, there's people out there that want to take your money. You just got to find them. That's all. Alright, piston number 3. Woo! And last but not least, piston number 4. Alright, let's get some oil on here. Alright, doing this one more time for you guys just showing up. What I'm doing is gapping the rings, oiling them so they can slide through the piston wall or slide through the cylinder a lot faster. So, and how we gap them is that we make sure that the gap of each ring is the furthest away from each other as possible. Once you think you have it, get your spring compressor. Lubricate your inside of your cylinder wall here. That's a good question for your boost gauge. I like to use, you mean like where do you tap it from, or what type of material hose? Be a little bit more specific on that, Daniel. Please. Piston number 4. Whoop, whoop, whoop. All of them are done. Very good question, Daniel. Very, very good question. What type of material? Well, there's a couple ways you can go about it. I seen hard line, so like what do I mean by hard? Like the hard plastic that comes out for vacuum lines. You can get them at AutoZone. That's a good one to use. My personal favorite are silicone vacuum lines. You can get them online. They're very, very common. They can resist tons of heat. They are pretty much resistant to oil, resistant to moisture, and they're super cheap. You can buy like 20 feet of it for like 20 bucks. And you can use it for almost anything. So silicone hoses. Same stuff that they use for like the boost hoses and stuff, but they make it small. You can use the 10mm stuff. That's usually what I recommend, is 10mm hose, or 8mm. That's the diameter of the actual hose. Hopefully that helps. Hi, Papa.
Hi.
What's going on? You gotta go to bed? Oh, watch out.
Careful.
Give me a hug. Hey, how was school today?
Good.
Good? Did you have fun? What'd you learn?
ABCs.
And 1, 2, 3?
Yeah.
Alright. Did Auntie read you a book? What book did you read?
The Lion King.
Nice. Alright. Give me a hug.
Yeah.
Love you. Have a good night, okay?
Okay.
I'll see you later, Papa. All right. Yeah, you're welcome, Duncan. Engine, yeah, Nightbot. This is the only time I got free time, man. I don't get a lot of free time in my life, so yeah, working this late. I mean, it's 9 o'clock over here in Cali. I don't know what time it is where you live, but it's 9 o'clock. It's not that bad. 9:30. I'm almost done, so I'm gonna be done for tonight pretty soon. But yeah, I mean, I don't have a lot of time throughout my day, so this is the best time. It's a good time I can actually multitask. I can talk to you guys, I can talk and work all at the same time, so it's not a big deal. You know? No, my engine's not due until January, actually. I got a car show literally the beginning of January, and I want to have my baby done for that show. You know, show off what we built together. I did all the pictures on the side of the video. Those are all my pictures. If you follow my Instagram, Nightbot, you can see, I mean, I do a little bit of photography work. I'm not very good, but some of my stuff looks pretty good, you know. I'm not going to say, hey, taking pictures or something. Nah, I'm not that good. But yes, I do all the pictures. I do all the video work. I do all the editing. I do all my own stunts. It's all me, man. I got no money to pay somebody else, so I gotta do it all by myself. For my photography, I use a Nikon 5200 with a fixed 52mm lens with a 1.8 f-stop. That's for like my close-up shots, and the picture on the very top, there we go, up here, I took that with a brand new lens I got. It's a Nikon wide angle. I like that one, but the f-stop on that thing's whack. It's like 4.5 to 4.5 is lowest on that one, so not the best, but it works. I mean, it takes nice shots in the daytime. At night, it's Probably one of the crappiest lenses to use at night, but it works. And, you know, I can't complain. You know, especially with my kind of budget. It took me almost 4 months to save up for that lens. So, but if you follow my Instagram, you can see a lot of my other work for photography. I actually I post a lot, especially for Volkswagen stuff. So you can check out what I do. My Instagram is Friends of Fast, one word. Right, I post cars with all my friends, people I hang out with, car shows that I go to. I mean, everything. I take pictures of everything. For my video work, I have an array of video stuff that I use. Low budget, obviously, nothing fancy. But I used to have a really nice Sony camera, but I couldn't afford keeping it, so I sold it. But I use a Sony action camera for my close-up DIY work. I use my LG G5 phone with a gimbal, and I use that for a lot of my car show stuff and just slow stuff that I record. And my pictures with my Nikon. I mean, that's pretty much my entire studio right there, you know. One day when I can afford some nice, you know, microphone equipment and other stuff, oh my God, I can't wait till that happens, you know. One day. So I'm doing the final, pretty much touch-ups here on the crank. Yes, it's a DSLR, the Nikon 5200 SLR. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you. Yeah, I won't stop doing what I do as long as you guys keep watching and enjoying what I do. So have yourself a good night and enjoy the rest of your day, and have a good day at work tomorrow. Oh. Bad, 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 bad. Clean this up before I reinstall it. Okay. This piston is not being friendly. Ah, pain. Alright, now I gotta clean this bearing up. I got some grease on. Well, if you guys have any other questions though at all? I mean, I'm about to end my night pretty soon, so you know, I've been on here for a little while. Well, I say a long while, but hey, we assembled the bottom end of my car, of my engine, I mean. Not bad. Well, if you guys have any questions at all, man, feel free. You guys got like less than 20 minutes. So I'm gonna go to bed. No, I'm gonna go watch some. I'm gonna watch some anime before I go to bed. Alright, we're down to the last part. And at this last part, we gotta torque things down to specifications. Oh, man. So I gotta find my torque spec guide for my bolts. Let's see if I can find them. Nope. Over here. Nope. Nope. Oh man. Oh, I have to look it up on my phone. Alright, so bolt torque. Moly assembly lube, MP assembly lube thread. So 50 foot-pounds is what these use, and these are the 2000 series bolt. So, and there's no other than just 50 foot-pounds, and we're done. So here's my torque wrench. I don't think this is my. That's not my hand wrench. Okay. I'm gonna go grab my adapter here. Be right back. Alright, so grab this and set your torque wrench to 50 foot-pounds. Tighten down. $50. And then double check one more time. Once you get a good click, that's it. You're done. Go to the next one. $50. Do it one more time. Double check. All done. Whew. Alright. The last 4. One. Check you're still on 50. Done. Whew. Back up your torque wrench. Set that aside. Give yourself a pat on the back for a job well done. So now we got our rods, our crank installed, our new bearings, thrust washers. Let's see what else is there. Everything was inspected by the machine shop and gave me all the tolerances and gave me the specs, so I don't have to worry about plastic gauge or anything like that. Everything was set to factory, so I'm not worried about that. We torque to spec the main bolts, torque to spec the rod bolts by Integrated Engineering. So the next step is pretty much the rear main seal, the front main seal where the crank goes, oil pan, because we got to seal the top up, the bottom off first, and then what we do is that we're going to mask the front off of it and the top off for paint, because we're going to paint this black, a nice satin black. So we'll show you next later when we get to that point in the DIY or in the live stream. Yeah. Other way. My screwdriver. There it is. So now that everything's set, next thing you want to do is clean your top off again. Don't make sure this is residue free. Make sure everything else is like good, clean. I recommend when you're done, since now you have pistons in here and rods, just cover it with a nice towel. That way you can prevent anything else from getting inside after we clean that up. But yeah, we're going to be painting this probably, let's see, my next time, probably this weekend. Depends on what I got going on. We're going to paint that. We're going to install the new, or my old, ARP head bolts, which I don't even remember how they go on, but they go on somehow. Something like, yeah, there they go. These guys go in here. Funny thing that these guys go on hand tight. Really weird. So we put these in. Once the gasket's all in there, and we'll get that all taken care of later. But yeah, these are nicks. Head gasket. All the other fun stuff. But yeah. So you guys can just see what's going on. I'm going to be cleaning this all up one more time since we're going to get it ready for paint. So I want this as clean as possible so it looks as pretty as possible. But yeah, we got the head done. We got the bottom end finally done. Got a couple little things left to do, but we're good. Again, thanks everybody for watching tonight at Pinchel's Garage live stream. It's always great to talk to you guys and have fun and answer your questions while I'm working. It's what we do here live on my spare time, plus my DIYs, plus the car shows. You know, shoot me a text, hit me up on Facebook, hit me up on Instagram. You know, whenever you guys got time, just hit me up. I'm here to help. Thanks again for watching tonight, and as always, break, fix, repeat, because that's what we do here at Pinchel's Garage. Peace.